If you've ever dabbled in composing, I'm sure you can relate to the frustration of having a perfectly good song idea in your head, but not being able to get it out. Today, I'm going to tell you how to fix that.
Ongaku concept.
The other day, a friend of mine was telling me about a story that he's writing. He was going on about the main character when suddenly I got the idea for a song. It wasn't just a melody or something. I mean, this was completely arranged in my head. I knew I couldn't let an idea like this go to waste, so I quickly opened up MuseScore and started writing it all down. Inspiration comes in many forms. As musicians, sometimes we'll get a melody or a rhythm or even a fully arranged song idea in our heads like that. This is an exciting experience because it's hard enough to come up with songs when you're actively trying to compose something, so when inspiration strikes, you want to grab hold of it before it can get away from you. When I talk to other people about composing, there's something that comes up very often in conversation. They say they can't get the ideas they have in their head out on their instrument. And in the time it takes them to do that, they've lost the original idea. It seems silly that you wouldn't be able to play or even write down your own song ideas, but when you're trying to figure out a song that's in your head, you are transcribing. And it's a difficult form of transcription because it's not a concrete song. It's not something that you can just go back and listen to and have exactly the same way. So what do we do about this? The answer lies in developing a good relative pitch. Relative pitch is the ability to recognize notes based on their distance from one another. This enables you to identify notes and chord progressions even if you don't know what key it's in. And honestly, the key is the last thing that you need to know. The note A means nothing without context. On the other hand, a term like flat 7 means everything because it has a context. It's the flat 7 of whatever your tonal center is. A will always sound different in a given key. A flat 7 will always sound the same in any key. So start thinking about notes and chords relative to their position in the scale. If you're learning a song in the key of E, start studying the melody and assign scale degrees to the notes. So if you come across a B, that's the 5th. If you come across a G sharp, that's the 3rd. Start using numbers instead of note names. If you're familiar with the movable do form of solfege, that is also an excellent system for learning relative pitch. The same also applies to chords, so learn to look at chords by the Roman numeral system and take note of qualities like 7th or 9th. Each of these has their own particular sound, and over time you will start to recognize them when you hear them. If you start studying, I think you'll find that you actually do recognize quite a few chords and notes, even if you don't realize it yet. Let's compare this to an algebra equation with a bunch of variables. We aren't given any of the numbers for the variables, but we do know that y is equal to x plus 2, and z is equal to x minus 3. All you have to do is find x, and you will know what everything else is. X is your tonal center. Once you know the tonal center, you were able to plug in the values for all the scale degrees and get all the notes you're looking for. Unless you have perfect pitch, which is the ability to recognize a note without any reference whatsoever, you're going to have a very hard time finding the tonal center if you don't have an instrument or something else on hand. But that's a significantly easier challenge than if every note was a mystery to you. And if you don't want to deal with that, just write everything down in the key of C and you can transpose it later. The scale degrees are what's important. So in short, training your ear by learning relative pitch will enable you to get the songs out of your head and onto your instrument or on a score. You can learn it by transcribing songs and applying scale degrees to the notes and chords. And over time, you will start to recognize what they sound like. One last note. If you have a song idea, many people, including myself, have the tendency to continue developing it in their head and see where it goes. Don't do that. If you have a song idea, write it down as soon as you possibly can. And if you're not in a position where you can write it down, just keep thinking of that one part over and over and write it down as soon as you can before you start developing it. Because what's going to happen is you're going to keep going and then you're going to forget what you came up with originally. If you write down what you have as soon as you can, you'll have a base to work from that you can develop from there. So have fun composing. If you have any questions, you can let me know in the comments or email me at ongakuconcept@gmail.com. And I will see you guys next week.